Irashaimase. Watashi wa Andy desu. America Jin mangaka desu. What I said was, welcome to my shop. Welcome to my store. Irashaimase. It's something usually you hear when you enter in like a Japanese restaurant, perhaps, or store. They say, Irashaimase. That means like, come in, welcome. So I'm welcoming you into my shop. My humble abode of the art of comics. I am Andres Salazar. I am a half German-Swedish, a quarter German, quarter Swedish, and then a half Mexican, like straight up from Mexico. Culiacan, Sinaloa. Yeah, I'm from Mexico. My dad is from Mexico. He lives there. He's just like, screw it, I'm going back home. I retired. So that's what he did. This is important. You'll see why. No, maybe it is important because we're talking about Jose Gonzalez. Do you know that I have a Patreon account? You could be a part of the Patreon for as low as $1 a month and see all my creative work. You see little snippet a word. You see little snippets of creative things here, but you're going to actually be there in the thick of it with the patron. There's also memberships here now, where as a member of this channel, the elite cadre, the cabal of destiny, you become a member of, and you get cool stuff like videos are always sooner, private videos. That sounded weird. Not private videos, but you get members only videos. Okay, you recommend. You say, hey, talk about Gene Ha's best comic book. Okay, we're a top 10 or whatever. I will do it for you members. Now, commercial's over. Let's get on with the show. Today, we're going to talk about Jose Gonzalez. This is actually one of my favorite books I've been reading. I haven't been reading comics, to be honest. I've been up to my balls in painting. And when I'm not painting, I'm reading about Picasso or somebody like that. And up there in those like art books is this art book. Seriously, one of my favorite art books, Jose Gonzalez. He is the real freaking deep. When I look at this book, I mean, I'm just thumbing through right now. I'm like, man, I want to be able to draw like him. I want to be able to render like him. I want to be able to do this because if you can draw a beautiful woman, I heard this by Jim Silk or someone said, maybe it's Shaken, Mr. Jagan. If you can draw a beautiful woman, ba-boom, write your ticket, baby. Because that is the pinnacle of modern visual beautiful art. Is like drawing a beautiful woman, dude. That's not, there is something super hard about it. It is something you know when you see it type of deal. And it's just like, boom, if you can draw a beautiful woman, shebang. Now, I don't know why I'm doing this, just for the hell of it. I see it. Here's a painting I did last week in a drawing class. Boom. Right? I took a little, okay, this is not a beautiful woman. Now, I'm using a palette knife. It's abstract. I actually probably will put a couple more layers on here to really jazz it up. I wouldn't say it's a beautiful woman, but it does actually look like the model. It actually looks pretty much spot on her. But I need to work on it. Still, it's in oil. It's not like rendered like this. But if you can draw a beautiful woman, if you can make her bow, it's like bow down. Okay, enough of that business. Okay, let's turn the tables over, the camera over. Let's take a look at this. Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Hey guys, let's take a look at this book. I bought this on a whim, but I really, really enjoyed reading this, learning about Jose. Just his ability to render, not only render art and render the figure, but also do it artistically and using style and color and just really knowing how to, create art. Okay, it's not just like, he's not doing just photo realism here. He's not doing Chuck Close. he's doing his own thing. He's really adding some of my favorite guys like Burning Fuse, Austin Briggs, Robert Fawcett. He's using those really great classic illustrating techniques to create some beautiful pieces. And his pen work, his ink and pen work is phenomenal, as well as watercolor. He really used a lot of mediums. So just look at this. This is a brilliant piece of work. And one of the things that you look at when you look at art, you're looking at variation. So you have a variation of line, of types of lines, types of line mark making. Now he's using the same type of pen here. So he's not like using a big thick brush and pen. But within that, we see what he's doing here with kind of a sketchiness, with some parts that are loose, some parts that are tight with a ruler. Also, the coloring, the shading in the blacks, putting a lot of detail and rendering here, and then letting this kind of like escape off, showing this atmospheric perspective here in the background, letting that kind of drift off into the mists, and just the covers of the duvet just kind of like blending off into nothingness. And so there's these big, nice white spots, these heavy dark spots. It's just very appealing. And if you look at her hair and all these beautiful little strands and things, it's just as nice. And then you've got this really nicely rendered face. And these positions, both of these positions are not easy. This one specifically is tricky to do to make it look still accurate and beautiful. So. And just the line, look at the contour line of the leg there and the thigh. It's great. I mean, we spent time there. These are different articles, by different people, where he, they call him Pepe, I guess, where he was from, in Europe, and what he was into, and his partners, and the studio that he worked at in Barcelona and different places, and kind of learning about comics. And he worked with Warren magazine, Vampirella, of course, with people like Fernando Fernandez, Felix Mas, Luis Garcia, a bunch of different people. And he would go to Barcelona, then he would go to London and work in different places. Look at this, is beautiful. Love this stuff. And then he would do things like this, where he'd do these really nice kind of washes. And it looks very much like a photograph. I mean, he's really got the rendering down. Perfect. Look at that. That is really well done. The skin, so well done. This is beautiful too. We can't zoom in on it, but you can see these, the storytelling, the panel and page layout. It's very interesting. I love this detailed work. It just, whenever I see detailed work like that, I think of the time and effort that goes into it, and how many hours it takes to do something like that. It takes a lot of freaking hours. So, great bodies, positioning here is for the foreground, and the coloring is really nice too. He's quick too. He's known to be a very fast artist. And I love this. This is some of the stuff I really love. This reminds me of Al Parker in a way, and some of those illustrators of the 60s, 70s. Just the face. This face is so good, and the mouth opening, the eyes, the hair, very stylized. Very, he could have been a board guy for some advertising firm, and just look at this. Just very, also, he's great with costuming and fashion, and he would study fashion, and yeah. great stuff. This is another great women. Just beautiful as far as like women goes. I mean, there are some that you think of, they're just like, Frazetta is touted as someone who draws women, but I would say these women are much more attractive than Frazetta. Frazetta focused a lot on the anatomy and muscularity and things like that. He drew soft women too, of course, but the curves and outlines, he was into those shapes. This is just, I don't know what, but it's just like beauty. It's just like he captures the essence of a beautiful woman. Look how big that piece is. I didn't know that piece was so big, but it's a very large painting. Such a good book. This is done by the way, I should mention, this is Dynamite, which is not somebody that you think of when you think art books, although it makes sense for this particular one. And they're not one who does a lot of art books, but let me see what the price is. This is $40. I think on Amazon probably 35 or 32, something like that. But for me, it's literally one of my favorites now. Just the level of comics and things like that are in here, and we'll go through some of that here in a bit. Here's some pages, and it's nice and big too, so you get a chance to really look at the art. Well, this is great. This is like something that Supieri would like. Just the curve of the anatomy is just really attractive and very nice, and then the hip coming out goes down. It's a nice shape right there. It's a beautiful shape. And we'll see that. I think she draws that position multiple times. It's kind of a fun story. And I think all the pages are here too, so you get the whole thing. But there's these really cool, beautiful elements to it. Her eyelashes and here's another one here. It's interesting how these are all nice and squared off, and then these are all angled out. Kind of interesting. I'm not sure if that was just kind of a thing. These are fun. These are fun little sketches, though. These are nice little cartooning here. That's really nice. Even the feet, the shoe. That shoe is so nicely done. Those hands, they're kind of gnarled out. Here's another one that was considered one of his early works. Little different. It feels a little different, right? Each story kind of plays around a little bit with the style, the inking. He's kind of tinkering with it. This article talks about Victor Ramos, who's another Vampirella artist who they kind of like were roommates for a time. Oh, and this chapter talks about the romance stuff, and this is just beautiful work. Again, I love this face. I love these girls. This looks just like Bob Peak. I'm sorry, but not Bob Peak, sorry, Al Parker. Or Bob Peak, but Al Parker particularly reminds me of kind of like the design things that they're doing with these faces. They're all really well done. It's just, this was done in the 59, so this was a while back. Valentine was this romance magazine. I wish they did romance comics now, to be honest. I think it would be so cool. And yeah, you'll see these are kind of like pieces that they did, and if you look here, you'll see some really great little art in here. Very fashionable to the times. This is, the beginning of the 60s, so you start to see that kind of hair and clothing. We do the same thing now, when you see an X-Men comic, they're going to be dressed like what we dress like now. So you always want to make it current. I just love looking at these faces. I just love looking at her profile, the 3/4 view, the head, the full on, the lips, that light movement of the crow quill pen, the nib, and how it's not quite connected, so that you see the little like disjointed line. So it's not a full line. You just see little spots of the line. It's unconnected, and that's important when you're doing the inking, to give it a little lightness. It's not so heavy. But the faces are just beautiful, dude. If you could draw faces like that, you're set. I like this too. This is a fun story. I remember this one. Yeah. And this one feels a little different here, the inking style. Let's look at some paintings. Again, just beautiful colors, and how the colors are great. Love the colors, love the patterns, creating interest. Also the silhouette, that these kind of white silhouettes are nice. This is nice here too, and again the pattern for the clothing just creates another layer of texture when you put these kind of textures in there. You see that a lot in that era of artwork too, and the colors are just so bright and nice. I think it all comes down to rendering. If you can render and make things look real and make things look proportionally good, then you're like almost home. You are literally like, you're on third base. You're almost there. And then on top of that, once you get the rendering well, and then you just learn some color, some color, some pattern, some of those things to add on top of it, it just amplifies it. It just makes it good. But the first trick is really learning how to render these things, and these beautiful bodies and these faces. Once you can do that, then you just can add whatever you want to. Here's like some cover work, and here's some models. So we were talking before, I think, about models, and there's gorgeous. I mean, they're using perfect models for this stuff, and then amplifying things at times. That's a great model there, right? Just amp her up. It looks like he's using some kind of a charcoal or something like that. These very evocative poses. Is that one from that? Hang on, let's look. Looks like it is. Is that? Yeah. So you can see the face is pretty dead on, right? That's pretty much her. Just giving her hair, shoulder, breast just perfect, shoulder there, the deltoid coming in, hand. Yeah, that is that. Yeah. It's very nice. But so you could draw it perfectly like this, but he's adding a gestural element to it. He's giving it some energy and life by keeping it with this pencils, looks like, or charcoal pencil and just kind of like keeping it light like that. And that's the kind of artistic style and fun part of drawing. And that was that other one we saw a moment ago, and he just flipped it. Change the boots, give her some heels. And there's that one that we saw a moment ago too. Yeah. These are all very kind of cool. Again, the color is so powerful. I don't know if I love I don't really know if I love the rendering with the, we're going to call it charcoal for now. Because like if you go back to Supieri would do that contour lining and it would pop great. But I don't know if I dig that one. And these are wonderful faces, and I love this little sketched out background there. And yeah, this is what I need to start working on. I always draw little faces on my drawings. I need to like start incorporating them, putting them together in these little compositionally interesting things. I need to start doing that. I think I'm farting around with I'm on the edges of that, but I'm not diving right in the middle of doing something like this where I'm incorporating my drawings together into one piece. It's nice. He's so good at drawing from models that you can tell the model. You can tell that it's a different person, right? So there is that element to him that he's so faithful to the model, which could be potentially a bad thing. But he's so good at it. I don't think anybody minds that there's different model, that's like a different person than that one potentially, you know. Or that is definitely a different person, right? But maybe that doesn't matter, because these are all just interpretations of what is the essence of Vampirella. Kind of like what we talked before with Olivia, how the body is the focus always, but then you kind of do this gestural fun background. And she does always seem to have bats, a moon, which makes sense, she's a vampire, and then some sort of like vegetation, like she's crawling in the jungle of some Chiapas or someplace. I don't know if she's Mexican. I just thought Chiapas would be a good place. These are all really great though. Great drawings, great models, beautiful poses, very sexy, right? That's what, I mean, I didn't even start with that, but that's what I should say is, I mean, this is beyond sexy, this one, but it's very sexy, cheesecakey. Let's look at Jose in Spain. Let's look at some of this stuff. And this is, again, more of those romance drawings. I like the design of this. I like the way you've got the main picture, you get this little like cartoon. I like the design of this. This is a really cool painting too. I like this drawing. I like the colors, these little fall, autumn colors in the background. It's nice. I mean, you can tell because he had so much experience drawing and working in romantic comics, he drew women, he drew people all the time. So he was so good at it, and that's what he did all the time, was draw people. That's a really cool one. That's a really, really, really cool one. That's a hard pose to do too. That position's hard to do to make it look good. But that face is great. Yeah. Don't know Bella Starr, but it looks like there's some action in it, to say the least. So yeah, what is this? Chicas en Deportes. Okay. Girls doing sports. I can appreciate that. Marilyn Monroe. Greta Garbo. Do some film stuff. That's kind of cool. Got the Greta Garbo, Humphrey Bogart. Another Humphrey Bogart. That's a nice coloring job. I like that. There's James Dean. He did some. He did a western. He did a one or two. I know he did one western at least. Simok. I don't know this. Magazine. Comico Vivo. These are cool. Very different, isn't it? I think this is more of the familiar stuff we saw a little bit. A lot of Marilyn Monroe. He had a fascination with her. And he got a lot of gigs doing Monroe stuff. Oh yeah, there's that position. These are so good though, guys. That's a beautiful one. This is one of my favorites. It's watercolor. Oh, it's nice too. They're all good. They all look a little different. He's using different little techniques, different mediums at times. Really kind of playing with the figure. We're gonna do the whole book. I feel like this goes on forever. Should we stop here or should we keep going? Let's keep going. Let's just do it. Don't give up. It's nice to add the animals. It's kind of fun. Commercial work. Do some erotica stuff, looks like, too. French erotic comics. Didn't know much of that. Oh, romance covers. That makes complete sense. I mean, he just did a lot. Again, what did I say? If you can draw a good woman, the doors are open, man. You can do a lot of stuff. Paperback novels, although nowadays they might use more photography, but paperbacks, comics, film, posters, erotica, what have you, pinups. Like these children's books. It's kind of crazy. Barbie? He did Barbie? I had no idea he did Barbie. 96? He did freaking Barbie? I had no idea. My gosh, this guy. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that is very cool. All these are very cool. Yeah, I hope you can appreciate the varied types of work he's doing and the effort, the skill to do something like this and do something like this and this. It's very different. But man, is he good. Sheesh. This guy knew. I should show you my Al Parker book and stuff, and look at John Whitcomb and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy does the same. He's like of that ability. Is this Pamela Anderson? Pamela? No, mid-60s. I just see a blonde with a buxom blonde. I'm like, Pamela. Look at these. Whoa, these are super cool too. Sports Illustrated? Wow, that's really cool. These are great. Oh, I love Cary Grant. It's Marlon Brando back in the day. Huh. Marilyn Monroe. I like these better with the Contig and then the L acrylics. These are all really cool. Yeah, I like these a lot. The design, the costuming is just remarkable. Yeah, some of the best stuff. Wonderful work. Well, this is Jose Gonzalez. Highly recommend this book, and I really enjoyed reading the comics in here and learning more about his stuff. He was much more than just Vampirella, but he was probably the best Vampirella. So there you go. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one. Bye.